There's the title. That's the movie we're watching. Well, that's the movie I'm reviewing. That's the movie for today. There's the menu. And yeah, sorry for the flickering, but that's my TV. It comes up on the, if there is flickering, I guess it's not flickering. Anyway, so there you are. And the reason why I was showing you the menu as a title screen is we'll explain later. Anyway, welcome to the Criterion Collection Reviews. My name is Nate Jackson, and I'm the guy who does things. And we're continuing our Hitchcockapalooza with number 136, I think, and 136, Spellbound. Alfred Hitchcock, David O. Selznick. The usual, the same, and still different. All right. 1945, 46, I think. We got Gregory Peck and the wonderful Ingrid Bergman and some other people. Anyway, so let's talk about this one because this one was pretty amazing. This is a good one. I'm gonna spoil this for y'all. So if you haven't seen it, you might want to stop. I'll tell you when the spoilers come in, or maybe I probably won't. So just watch with caution. And yeah, so we start off with Ingrid Bergman plays Dr. Constance something or other. Constance, we'll call her Constance, who works at a sanitarium, and a new doctor comes in. His name is Anthony something or other. God, I wish I could remember. And I wish I had the list, but you know, Spellbound came from Azusa Pacific, so you know this is the case. And it's part of the reason why you're not seeing the disc, but I'll explain that in a minute. So Dr. Anthony comes in, and he's played by Gregory Peck, and he comes in and he's replacing an old colleague of the sanitarium, someone of the older doctors. And so he comes in and Constance is immediately smitten with him, and so they go for walks and they talk, and she falls for him, and meanwhile all this is happening. Dr. Anthony is like disturbed by certain things, such as dark lines on white patterns. For instance, later at one point, early in the movie, she takes a fork and puts it on the tablecloth, and he like freaks out. And like when he sees all white in the doctor's ward, he falls ill and he has to go to bed. And yeah, so while he's ill, Constance reads a note from him, reads his book, and he reads the autograph page, and she notices that the handwriting doesn't match the handwriting on a note that Anthony wrote for her later, earlier in the film. And so she's like, oh wait, that's not the real doctor, you know, so who is this imposter? So when he wakes up, she asks him who he is, and he admits that he doesn't remember. And he tells her that he killed the doctor. He killed Dr. Anthony, and his name is, they eventually give him the name of John Brown. And while he's trying to figure it all out, it's revealed, you know, the police find out, and so he runs away. He runs to New York, and he hides out at like the Empire State Building or something like Empire Hotel in New York. And she finds out, so she runs to New York to get him, and so she rescues him, and they take a train down to her colleague, one of her old colleagues, who they all try to analyze him. And so he tries to remember these dreams that he had, these really crazy dreams, which are interpreted by the quite crazy Salvador Dali, who did these really trippy dream sequences you see, which are indescribable. You'll have to see those for yourself. I'm not going to try and describe how people get eyes cut out and melted wheels falling down a hill and all that stuff, and kissing bugs. But anyway, so yeah, but meanwhile he's still having fits of, you know, dark lines like train tracks that freak him out, and the pattern on her robe freaks him out, and the all white bathroom freaks him out, and all that. So they put two and together, and they figure it all out, and they figure that had something to do with his childhood. And the snow is weirding him out, and they figure out that it's like has something to do with skiing. And so Constance takes John skiing, and as they're skiing, he realizes that it was something in his childhood. And just before they hit the end of the cliff, they stop and he realizes that it was because he's feeling a guilt complex because he killed his brother. He pushed his brother off a hill. He was sliding down like the steps of their staircase of their front, and he pushed his brother onto the spike on the gate and killed him. And so that solves that mystery. And so they go back to the cabin, and the police catch up with Constance and John, and they arrest John because apparently they found the body for from the Dr. Anthony, but there was a bullet. Someone killed him with a gun. And so they arrest John, and Constance tries to figure it out on her own. And meanwhile, her old colleague, whose name I can't remember, comes back and takes his old place again. And he ends up revealing to Constance that he barely knew her, and he barely knew Dr. Anthony, and he hated him. Even though earlier in the movie he said that nobody had ever met him. So she finally figures it out, and he figures out that the gun was found in the snow, and it was his fingerprints, and he pulls the gun on her, and she tells him that if she gets killed, then he'll definitely go to the electric chair, rather than just going to jail just for the first murder. And so she ends up walking out to call the police, and he ends up killing himself. And it's a really trippy scene where you see, Hitchcock's filmography throughout this entire film is amazing. The close-ups, and of course the Dali sequence is awesome. A lot of the flashback sequence just totally left me spellbound. Oh god. Yeah. So is that, and but the last thing we see of the killer, we see it from his point. We see the gun pointing at Constance, and it follows her out the room. And then suddenly we see the gun like this, like the gun's pointed like this, and then it points the opposite direction. And it fires, and for a second you see red. You actually see the color red for like a split second, and I was like, holy crap, there's actually color in this film. And so basically he kills himself. John and Constance are reunited and married, and everything's good. So, what a suspenseful movie! It's a trippy mystery. It's suspenseful. It's got it's got really nice, wonderful cinematography. Ingrid Bergman is beautiful as Constance, and Gregory Peck plays an amazing John Valentine. And they're just two actors. And apparently, I looked at the Wikipedia page, and I found out that apparently they had a kind of a affair together, which I'm like, well, they should have done more movies together then. They should have done at least one more. And I don't think they did. I don't think they're in the stars of Notorious. No, I think it was just for that movie. But yeah, so this one was a keeper. This one was really good. The story kept me in suspense. It was easy to follow, and it's worth 100, 200 more watches. And 295,000 more watches. So too bad it's out of print, but it's like $25 on Amazon, so maybe I'll bite the bullet and get it. Compared to Rebecca's $110 minutes, $110 for 12 hours of supplements, and Joan Fontaine looking all confused and psychotic herself. Anyway, A. This is an A. This movie is an A. The Spellbound is an A. All right, so. It's a keeper. It's great. It's Hitchcock, and I actually I caught the cameo. I have to go back. I still have Rebecca. I need to go back and catch his cameo again, because I was like, wait, but didn't he do all those cameos in his movies? And I wasn't sure if it like something he started later in the 50s or 40s, but you have to go back and find it now. So the reason why I showed you the title screen was because I don't, there are a lot of stuff, just like Rebecca, there's a lot of supplements, so I don't want to miss everything on here, so I'm just going to go through here and just narrate what's here. So the sequence, the special features section is called Labyrinth, and the first section is production correspondence, which has like, letters and stuff like that, and it has, let's see. Sorry, this is PS3 is hard to navigate. I'm still trying to figure out how to navigate this stuff. Okay, so it was barely based on a book by somebody beating called The House of Dr. Edwards, and there's a section on like the differences between the novels, just like with Rebecca, and advice from like actual psychiatrists, and feedback from the audience, and the production code, which is great, like all the stuff they needed to cut, the censors wanted them cut. And that's basically that. Stills Gallery shows a bunch of amazing promotional photos and behind the scenes and publicity, set stills, and all that. A Nightmare Ordered by Telephone, which is a whole sequence dedicated to the making of the Salvador Dali sequence, which talks about the like there's a whole sequence that apparently was cut. And the Theremin, which is a section based on the music of Spellbound, which is based on the theremin, which is this instrument that it's like a wire, and like there's like pads I think you play, and you move your hand up and down the wire, and it like makes like musical notes. And so there's an interview with Miklos Roska, who is the Rosa, who was the composer for the score. I think the composed the score, and then the Fishko Files, the theremin, which is a 7-minute public radio feature on the theremin, and some theremin resources. The trailer, which I have to admit was kind of I admit the criticism was for totally pointing out the cameo right in the smack dab in the beginning of the trailer, which is kind of stupid, which is actually very stupid. And yeah, but apart from that, tells a decent. Get you interested in it. And of course the Lux Radio Theater production of Spellbound, featuring and it didn't really hit me until the last few minutes when I listened to it, was Joseph Cotton and Valley from The Third Man. Yeah, Aldia Valley. So that's the trip. That's they're back together. Actually, I don't remember. I think this was before. Actually, let's find out. This was produced in 1948. The Third Man was 1949. Yeah, so this was before The Third Man. Okay, that's cool. Then no wonder so this was their first kind of working together, and they ended up working together again during Third Man. And oh boy, that would have been something to talk about if they'd have done it. The two performances had been switched. And yeah, so I listened to of course it's an hour long. They cut out, let's try to remember everything they cut out. Of course, the whole lines thing is really weakened because you can't see you can't see all the lines. For instance, they had to cut out the whole fork on the napkin thing, and when he goes to the train station, he talks to the conductor or the train ticket person, and he's behind bars, and so there's dark lines, and he starts having a dizzy spell right there, and they have to like weaken that, and they can't really talk about that. And of course, there's a lot of stuff that like the note that he leaves her, the note that John leaves Constance, has to be explained by a phone call that John leaves. He says you'll find the thing under the door, under the carpet, when in the movie he just leaves it under the door, and the police accidentally kick it outside, and so she takes it before they notice it. And yeah, so like most radio dramatizations, it's hard to they don't stand up to the movie. And I was actually thinking of listening to all the Lux Radio theaters, but then I realized that it would actually be helpful if I watched the movies first. So I'm thinking I may just listen to the ones of the movies that I know, and just seeing like what they cut, what they changed, and all that before I go about listening to all the radio theater dramas. I think it's a little more. They added a little more comic relief with Constance's colleague they stay at, who helps them analyze John. He was a line. Any husband of Constance's is a husband of mine, and that gets a laugh from the audience, which is like, okay, I don't recall that one. I don't recall him being that jovial in the movie. It's very dark, and there wasn't honestly a lot of humor. There was a little bit of humor when Constance is at the hotel and this guy like tries to totally leech on her and was trying to flirt with her, and the house detective shoos him away. I guess that's probably the littlest, I think almost every, Hitchcock movie has a little bit of humor in it, intentional or unintentional, or dark or light, But yeah, so that's all the supplements. So yeah, like I said, great movie. I'm getting it, regardless of how much it costs. This is added to the wish list. Spellbound is awesome. There it is, Spellbound. I'll probably wait. You know what? I'll take a screenshot. Wait a minute. I can take one right there. All right, that'll be our screenshot for the day. All right, so that's it from today. Tomorrow we finish up our Hitchcockapalooza with another Bergman, another Hitchcock, Notorious. Notorious. Okay, there we go. And then Thursday we'll do the supplements to The Rock, unless otherwise noted, and sometime soon we'll do the Vanishing. We'll do the Vanishing as well. Might do these Friday. I'm not sure. We'll figure it out. And then of course, like next week, Rashomon, Wild Strawberries, 8.5, and the others are coming. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Morals. We need morals. It's hard to think of morals when you really like the film. When I really like the film. Morals. Don't kill doctors. That's a good moral. Don't kill doctors. Don't go crazy about dark. Oh, don't kill your brother. Even though it was an accident, Don't kill your brother. Yeah. Anyway, that's as good as it's gonna get. Just get Spellbound and watch it for yourself. And yeah, so we'll see you tomorrow for Notorious. Good evening.